In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jah Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jah Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jah Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
And what about the 200 million for entertainment?
No, actually, what 200 million they said is the whole of government. And don't forget, when we say entertainment, it doesn't mean every day we'll be beating Sabbath.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going
and
to
then
yeah.
we bring griots and let's make fun. No.
What type of entertainment?
In official business, like for example, if you receive an official guest,
yes,
you lodge him in a hotel. Mm-hmm. You take, you offer state banquets. You have like the recently concluded Independence, or national events. Those are entertainments. And, even let us put things in context. As we speak today, our president is the chairman of OIC, the head of 57 Muslim majority member countries. Yes. By implication, one would expect either he moves out or a number of dignitaries visiting him, which are to be treated and given hospitality.
How many have come in so far?
Well, I don't keep track of the numbers.
Has anyone come in?
Yes, certainly. You, in fact, if the resource availability were there, the president would have been on the move.
He should have been on the move.
But I can tell you, this discussion was raised, and is the resource constraint? It's difficult to move a president.
So that's why he's not playing a part in the Gaza resolution.
No, he is doing a subtle diplomacy.
Yeah, but that's not filtering out to the public for us to know.
Yes, but what we are saying, imagine given that role, because the OIC is not giving the state money for the president to run his chairmanship. Running the chairmanship of OIC should be funded from your national budget. Imagine just a trip or two back and forth to the Middle East to do subtle diplomacy on this, which ideally should be the case. So I think when we do budget, we take into account the realities of the day. And that's what it doesn't mean that 200 million will be there to bring Jaliba and Sabar every day and make merry.
Okay. Text messages.
Yes.
Is it not the same government that is contributing to the mismanagement of those failing national institutions? Because it is the government that appoints the board and top management of these institutions, and of course the political interference by the executive and cabinet. You listed a number of.
I think those are legacies. Mm-hmm. But for now, as we speak, that's why we came up with the state-owned enterprises. Mm-hmm. There is laser focus on management of public enterprises, and I can say for sure, executive interference is at the very limited. Appointment of the board and the managing director of these institutions now follow a due process. We have all seen in newspapers advertisement for board members in a number of these SOEs. So where is the executive interference when a transparent recruitment process has been embarked on? Legacy-wise, we cannot say much about that, but going forward, we believe these reforms have been kicked in from 2024, and they will yield results.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning to you, Uncle Peter, and the Minister. The UK has a GDP twice bigger than the whole African continent, and the population is over 60 million people. How can you compare the tiny little Gambia, one of the poorest countries in the world? If you put all our public companies in private hands, especially NAWEC, you are then putting it out of reach and very expensive for Gambians. Instead, the government should be making energy cheap by investing in renewables for our tiny population. You know, we floated this idea of privatizing NAWEC because, you know, wherever you go in the world, it's not the state that is producing some of these, social services. And, he has reason to worry.
No, I think his worries are well noted. Yeah. And they are
which is the argument of government
yes.
all these years, from Jawara to even Babili, Mansa, and now, that if you were to put water production in private hands, not everybody would have potable water.
No, I think his worries are noted, but we can also say the reforms and the policies of the government are just the right recipe for this situation. As we speak, we have an energy roadmap that is to diversify the energy source, which has started. We have just launched, for the first time in the history of this country, a 225 kVA. The transmission line used to be 33. So you have like almost 8-fold increase in the potential. Today, as we speak, we can pull power from as far as Guinea-Bissau, as far as Ivory Coast.
Guinea-Bissau is not far.
No, I mean Guinea-Conakry.
Okay.
You know, Ivory Coast we can, because we belong to West African Power Pool.
Yeah.
As a result, we have an energy purchase agreement with Electricity to Guinea, which will allow us to lift more than up to 30 megawatts during the dry season, and it can go up to 50 during the wet season because it's cheap hydroelectric power. We have a 5 megawatt solar farm in Jambur, and as we speak, procurement is afoot for the installation of 150 megawatt solar farm in Soma. First will be launched 50 megawatts that we believe, adding to our energy sources, will be able to meet national demand. And once the 100 megawatt come on stream, we belong to the OMVG network, and we can also export power. Well,
we are the basis of OMVG.
Yes, that's why we are leveraging on it.
That's our river.
Yes, and the payoffs are here. We've started benefiting from it now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good day, brother. What does the Honorable Minister have for the pensioners? He talks about the salary increment for civil servants, but why not the pensioners? Has he forgotten about the pensioners?
No, certainly not. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Yeah. They've not been left out. Nobody is getting a pension monthly less than 1,000. The all minimum pension for any retired civil servant is 1,000.
Minimum 1,000?
Yes.
That's not bad, though.
No, we've gone a long way.
That's not bad.
Yes, that's what this is like. And that's the reform we've done on the pensions area.
All right.
Yes.
Peter, tell your guest that those buses. Sorry, please tell your guest where are those buses, because every day people are crying about transport problem.
Well, I think the buses are here, 100 of them. We've procured jointly with Social Security. But what has happened, the bus fleet has been distributed across the country. Originally, the urban center used to have a large chunk of the bus fleet. But now you have bus service to Kiang, to URR, CRR. All the rural areas have bus services now, a large part of it. So equitable access to public transport and public facilities.
Well, the Greater Banjul area needs more.
Well, that is now, we've done our part. Let GTSC and Social Security step up and try to fill that void.
Fantastic. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask the Minister about the revenue from the sand mining at Sanyang that Gach is exporting.
Well, I wouldn't have the numbers off my head, but I know there is a royalty agreement signed between him and the government in which he...
And you ensure that he pays all royalties?
Of course. That's my default. I anxiously look forward to that. And I even will follow with my colleague Minister of Energy and Mines regularly. Yes, that's been paid. And it's paid on time.
Nani Juara, since he became minister, he hasn't called me once.
Well, I'll pass your message.
I've just exposed him. Good morning, Peter. In fact, these board of directors are the same people, like friends, that are rotating each other in different companies. The suggestion there is there's a mafia-like, approach to, setting up these boards. It's literally, from a tiny group that...
Okay. Well, that's good feedback to note, but we encourage every Gambian future opportunities when they arise for them to apply, and we'll ensure that the due process is followed.
So when government is about to set up, a board of governors or board of directors, they advertise vacancies?
Oh, yes. HOE board positions are now advertised.
Okay.
Yes. And we encourage Gambians to apply. But by the way, we do not subscribe to that. If that is the observation, it's a feedback, and it will be taken on board.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Somebody just saying they sent a message via WhatsApp. Let's see. Oh, this is a long one. Good morning, Uncle Peter. But I think this was what Minister Seedy Keita told the National Assembly in November and not in October, that government is seriously challenged in implementing this year's 2024 national budget because there is no substantial budget support for development partners up to that hour. The minister made this revelation in response to members during the debate on the report of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee on the $52.9 billion budget estimates for 2025. It also came after several lawmakers complained that monies earmarked for sectors in this year's budget, for example, the education sector, are not adequately disbursed, hampering the operations of the school. And I think they are going, somebody is just calling a news report from some source.
Yeah, but I did mention that. As of that time, I laid before the National Assembly and gave it, but then we received it by the... In fact, the last budget support was received on the 30th of December, precisely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kindly thank the gentleman for me. He's been very explicit and apt. However, privatizing NAWEC and soonest is the right way forward. This entity has and still continues to fail us throughout. Enough of excuses. Once again, thank this minister for being so clear and professional. So somebody was against privatizing NAWEC. Somebody is all for privatizing NAWEC.
Well, that's public discourse. You cannot satisfy everybody.
No.
But just do what you believe is right. And it's backed by empirical evidence and backed by best practice and research. So that's what guides policy that we are doing.
This was a question sent in advance. Tomorrow, please ask Seedy Keita to explain the foreign exchange swap, how it works and how much it's going to cost us. This is after Africa 50, Afrexim Bank will also rip us off. This was in respect of the Afrexim. This was sent, as I said yesterday, following the conversation with Larry.
Well, currency swap are tools of trading in the financial market. What you do, you exchange cash flows. And how it does a currency swap works is you have dollars.
Yes.
Somebody has another currency.
Yeah.
And then you swap them.
Afrexim has dollars. Gambia has dollars.
Afrexim Bank will give Gambia dollars. Gambia will give Afrexim Bank dollars.
Oh, okay.
Then those dollars will be invested in the Gambia. Then at maturity, the cash flows are reversed.
Say that again. Afrexim gives us dollars.
Yes, and then we give them dollars.
Okay.
Those dollars will be invested in Gambia. Upon maturity, Gambia will...
Invested as what? Treasury bills?
Yes, whatever instrument they may deem is their money. Once you do a currency swap, that's how a transaction works. You swap cash flows at entry and reverse them at maturity over a defined period of time.
So the question is, what's the cost to us?
No, of course, that's valuing a swap, how you value a swap. And swap is valued by the interest rate differential between the two currencies and on which side you stand. I hope we don't go into the mathematics of it here, but that's how it is done.
Well, if
swaps are actually valued, and when you value a swap, it will tell you whether it's for you or against you. And I'm sure, as a government, we will not go into a swap that will be against us. Certainly, yes. But of course, It can reverse course during the swap lifetime, except unless you have locked the exchange rates at entry and at exit. Yes, thank you.
Good morning, Peter. It is understood that Al Bayrak is negotiating a loan from the China Exim Bank and using the port as collateral. Now, if they default, Exim Bank of China will take over the port and government would not be able to do anything about it. What safeguards have government taken against such?
The concession agreement does not envisage passage of title. So
what does that mean? So
let me explain.
Even if Al Bayrak intends to go to Exim Bank of China,
the port cannot be used as security because they don't have title. You can only use something as a security to a financial transaction over which you have title. But of course, when you are transacting with a bank, the bank can choose a suite of securities that will be ideal to them. Yeah. So what security is a function of the credit transaction between Al Bayrak and the potential bank they are dealing with. But one thing I know is title to the port of Banjul has not passed. Title is still vested in the Gambia and is not eligible for transfers.
Somebody just joining us with a keen interest. They missed when you were discussing Mega Bank, so I'll just ask the question, and please just oblige them. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Can you please ask the minister who they sold the Mega Bank to and how much, please?
Precisely, as I have said, KM Holding, and for $15,250,000 in December 2023.
In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jah Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jah Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jah Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
Honorable Minister, we have about 10 minutes. I don't know whether you have issues you haven't touched on. You spoke about revenue collection. You spoke about how through digitalization and what have you, GRA has gone from giving us hundreds of millions to now billions.
Yes.
What? Okay.
I think there's one area I wanted to clarify.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
They said the Ministry of Finance was allocated 2.41 billion, and that was deemed to be excessive. But of course, even a cursory look at the budget will tell you what the components of that ministry's budget is. Ministry of Finance has 11 subvented entities. Those are GRA, GBOS, State-Owned Enterprise Commission, MCC, FIU, now so several of them, just to name a few. And the total amount of resources in the budget for those subvented entities is 1.3 billion. So, in a nutshell, what is left to the Ministry of Finance, and also, IFMIS system of the government is under the Ministry of Finance budget. We pay 313 million for the IFMIS system. No, we pay 70 million for the IFMIS system, and for equity participation. That is for the government of the Gambia to maintain its shareholding in these international organizations. You know, if you say you are a shareholder of African Development, you pay shares. ADB, World Bank, IFC, Islamic Development Bank, all these different organizations. Those are called equity investments of the government. That comes about 250 million. So in a nutshell, the net amount that is residual to the ministry is only 700 million. And this includes staff of the Ministry of Finance under the Accountant General deployed in all the embassies. Because all the embassies have financial attaches and their remunerations are all part of that. Just to break it down for people to understand what the Ministry of Finance budget comprises. And we also have the PALM project. That is the Public Administration Project, which is to the tune of 313 million. It's also part of the Ministry of Finance.
What's this PALM project about?
It's the new World Bank project that will soon be launched. It is about modernizing the public administration. And this project will be implemented for the first time through government systems to ensure that we will be using the Accountant General, the Auditor General, the internal audit, instead of just setting up Project PIU, so that government system will be robust, reforms will be entrenched, and reliance can be placed on government systems.
Will that make government leaner?
Well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Leaner, smarter, and efficient.
Yeah, I'm all for a leaner government, this expansionary government thing, I'm against. While we are on the subject of, support from outside, MCC, there was a time when it was the sexiest word, in the, partnership domain. How has the arrival of Trump and his foreign policy, affected, our enthusiasm about the MCC?
Well, the MCC is funded by Congress, and with Trump at the White House, policies are under review. Still a work in progress as we speak. The MCC is at the compact development phase. That is, we are emphasizing on how the roadmap for the implementation of the MCC will be. So we are watching, and we are in touch with the MCC Corporation in Washington. And when we go for the spring meeting, we'll have additional insight.
Because at least, $20 to $25 million would have gone to NAWEC? We heard when Trump came...
MCA. Okay. You have two transactions with the MCC Corporation. There's the Millennium Challenge account, which is $25 million. And the MCC, that is the compact. That's the larger envelope.
Okay.
Yes, so that's
well, MCC is MCC, yeah. Because Senegal was saying already they were, at risk of losing $500 million just for the energy sector alone.
Well, it is quite a development. We are all aware. But for us, we have not factored this in our budgets this year. And it's still, we consider it in the development phase. So we will watch and see what happens.
Yeah, we would like to know,
Certainly, we've not made any pronouncement as to the envelope that we will be getting or as to how that will be implemented. So it's still in the development phase, and we are observing developments.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask the Finance Minister about the agreement with the Norwegian-Gambian mining company to explore deep-sea mining opportunities. Again, a question for Nani. For Nani, perhaps. But, well, this is news.
It is news. It was debated in Cabinet, discussed, and it was seen to be a viable investment opportunity. And it's a prospective mining license. So we hope and pray that the prospect materializes, and that will be good news. But at this stage, all we are saying is a prospective license that is under discussion. We cannot quantify what the value of the reserves will be or what the exit price or allocation is. Too infancy. It's at its infancy. But the good thing is government has opened up and invited potential interested bidders or explorer to prospect for these mines, for these resources. Yes.
Uncle Peter, can you ask the minister, when are we going to receive the remaining balance of the OIC cars? A lot of people believe we should have had, 100 cars? We got 89?
89 was the price, and we closed it at that.
It was never 100?
No. Well, we went out to procure 100. but we end up with 89, and that's where the price.
Why
was.
89? Is because
that was what was available.
Oh, that was what was available.
Yeah.
Not that was how much money we had.
No, it was what was available, and also the resource envelope. So we wanted to buy 100, but the resource envelope and the availability
could only finance 89.
So there's no car left to be delivered under the procurement of the OIC vehicle fleet. And in fact, by the way, that leads me to clarify. I have heard severally that we have allocated 800 million for vehicles.
Haven't you?
That's not true. What we have allocated is 800, but the 400 is for the areas of the OIC vehicles and 400 for additional new vehicles. It's not that we are buying additional 800 after the OIC.
Why do you need new vehicles? I mean, you cannot have used all the 89 vehicles.
No. These are different sectors. You see, when you look at the budget, all the subvented entities that are linked to the budget, not all of them will be able to get vehicles from the OIC fleet.
Fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Seedy,
yes.
We have to be good now.
Well, thank you. I thank you so much, and your listeners. I'm sorry, but I think it's necessary to have this open
We're not
discussion.
complaining.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And once again, I thank you.
I told the information minister that the next time any minister is coming here to take more than 30 minutes, I'm going to charge for the extra time.
Well, it's a value. It's value for money. I think. I hope this clarification will help make people understand exactly what we are doing as a government.
Will.
And I cannot conclude without thanking His Excellency the President for the leadership and the guidance he continues to offer us ministers and cabinet, and the foresight he's deploying in his leadership. We pray that the country continues to remain in peace, harmony, and the development trajectory that we are on. Even though some people claim, how is our development around 5% or 6% when they develop world?
Exactly. I mean,
how
did you arrive at this number? I think it's doing what, 5.9%?
9%. I was surprised. Empirically, developing countries have a faster growth rate than developed countries. So you cannot look at world growth rate of 2 to 3% and you wonder why we are above that. Saying that means you don't know what development is like, because empirically developing countries have a lower base in terms of their size of the GDP. Any small increment tend to have a higher percentage mark. That's the law of numbers. And they have more investable areas. Today, our areas of investment is awash, from electricity, water, roads, digital. When you go to the West, those are not investable anymore. That's why, and our demographic opportunity dividend. We have a teeming youthful population. These are all aspects that further growth. So our growth numbers are not manufactured. They are verified. They are by different publication houses, from African Development Bank, World Bank, EIU, IMF. So for me to hear that, I wonder how they are saying that they are growing at 6% when the world is at 2-3%. To me, that was something I was not expecting.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a very good day.
Thank you.
He owed a great debt of gratitude to his boss, His Excellency, the President. My debt of gratitude, of course, goes to my sponsors, Jah Oil on YouTube.
In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jah Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jah Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year as the largest cement producer in the country. Jah Oil also target to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.